Star Wars Battlefront 2 changed the gaming landscape quite a lot with its pay-to-win lootbox mechanics that definitely had a negative impact on the brand, and also changes so much that regulators in other countries decided to put in, or at least look at putting in, laws to restrict loot boxes in video games due to the outrage from this game. Of course, a lot of people did not, because of this, buy into it when it was released, but how is this game holding up now in 2021 when they have fixed a lot of the issues? Hello, my beautiful and lovely gamers. As always, my name is Jonal. I'm a small content creator, so a like on the video generously help out against the YouTube's algorithm. Same goes for dropping down a comment. Did you play it back in the beta? Have you played it as of recent? Generally, your thoughts on this game. Would you buy it? Would you not buy it? I know that there's probably some of you that are saying, I'm not gonna buy it just out of principle because of what they did, even though EA has fixed the pay-to-win mechanics of the game. All of that, of course, greatly helps out, and majority of the people that are watching this video is not subscribed, so subscribing to the channel also helps, of course, out grow the channel and generally create more opportunities for this community, our Discord community, link down in the description, together with my Twitter and my Twitch. Now, this game has currently, at least, if you're buying it from official sources such as Origins, which is kind of where it's at, it's 40 euros. That's how much it costs. Now, if you are a part of the Discord community, I did tweet out to everyone on the server that this was free to get until the 21st of January. Of course, this video is a little bit later as I've had time to play it and test it out, and that's how I got hands on it. There are probably other sources that will sell it for a lot cheaper, as I assume that a lot of people have extra keys, but the official sources, this cost 40 euros. And if you're thinking, should I get that for 40 euros? It really depends, and the game can be split into two parts. It's single player and it's multiplayer. Now, generally, if you are a hardcore FPS player, you like, in-depth, spray patterns and recoil, and you like kind of that kind of style, you want, to customize your guns, all this kind of thing. If that is you, and that's the only thing that you really enjoy when it comes to shooters, this game is not for you. Star Wars Battlefront 2, very similar to Star Wars Battlefront, which also wasn't the biggest success, especially due to a season pass, among other things, has this very basic way of doing gunplay, which is kind of nice and kind of very boring. There's not really any recoil. Generally, there is just a kind of spray pattern on it, which seems to just be random at certain ranges. The TTK is significantly slow. There's no reload per se. Your guns will overheat, and when they overheat, if you shoot too long without kind of clicking the reload button, then you can kind of let exhaust out yourself. But if you make them overheat, then there will be this bar that you will have to time. If you hit it in the blue area, it will automatically reload or be ready to fire again. If you wait and hit it into the gold zone, you will get a temporary boost where you can shoot even more. It's a very spray fest and not very satisfying. Hit markers doesn't really seem to do a lot. It's kind of just like you just pebbling them with lasers until they die. This have to do something with the TTK of the game, which does that the game is very forgiving, and it kind of feeds into how the gameplay of this game is. This isn't your Valorant or your Call of Duty or your Battlefield type of game. This is Star Wars Battlefront. It is far more about abilities and heroes and these special classes and playing around with that than it is with playing around with the gunplay per se. The guns are there, and of course it's a primary thing, but it's definitely not the focus. So the gunplay is definitely not very satisfying if you come from Call of Duty, Battlefield, Overwatch, even Counter-Strike and stuff like that. It doesn't feel as satisfying taking down an individual with this type of gun, and that's something that you should weigh, because if you play a shooter and gunplay is very important to you, like it is for me, and that is like the main focus of what kind of keeps you driving in an FPS game, then you should not invest money in this game. You will very quickly get bored of it. However, if you want something a little bit more light and a little bit more fun, casual fun. That is the best way to describe this game. It's about abilities, it's about these special heroes. You can play as Death Troopers, you can play as the New Sith Empire, you can play as Republic Commandos, you can play as, of course, Jedi and Chewbacca and all the heroes from the Star Wars universe. You get to play as super battle droids and all kinds of just units and tanks. That is the kind of main focus of this game. That is when I at least had the fun, playing as an arch trooper or as a jetpack trooper, flying around. That is the fun of this game, and that's kind of what you should be looking at if you're thinking about getting this game, at least when it comes to multiplayer. There is a decent amount of content. You essentially grind out 1 out of 4 classes. If you get enough kills with a class, you will unlock new guns. There are about 4 guns for each class. Not a lot, but it's fine. It's, again, the gunplay is not the focus of this game, so for that matter, sure. And some of the guns that you unlock later on, if you play enough with them, you will also unlock a couple of attachments and features to them, once again making it better. It's quite grindy. It takes quite a long time to do that kind of stuff, so you have to grind for quite a lot of time just to unlock a bunch of stuff. On top of that, there's star cards. You get star cards by, again, playing the designated class, unlocking, getting kills and stuff like that. You will unlock skill points that you can invest into star cards, and star cards will unlock abilities and features and stat increases and all this kind of stuff. Which does that when you start out this game, you will get barrel stomped by some people that have like max unlocked units and stuff like that just have way better guns with better attachments, with better stat bonuses. You will get destroyed by those players in the beginning, and I felt that it takes quite a long time to start catching up to those other players. That is just how this game is built, but it also does, there's at least some progression to grind towards. For me, however, I don't feel that it's a very good progression system compared to other games where you unlock attachments and you can kind of customize your guns. But again, that's a very individual way of looking at it. You should, again, focus on the fact that you are playing as these hero units, as these special units, which is the fun thing. Playing as Republic Commandos are super fucking fun. Playing as a flame trooper from the New Order, from the new Star Wars movies, are fucking amazing. Playing as a jetpack trooper is fun, just flying around. I get to play as Yoda, or Darth Sidious, or Darth Maul, or Darth Vader, or Anakin, or Obi-Wan. That is fun. General Grievous, all these kind of heroes. That is what is fun with this game. Playing around and just having this casual experience of running around the battlefield. It's chaotic. You pull out a Gatling gun as a heavy and you spray down a corridor to add suppressing fire, and it's just dumb fun. That's what is the good thing about this game. That's why a lot of people still play it to this day. It's not a very hardcore shooter. It's not Counter-Strike. It's not even Call of Duty, if you can call that a hardcore shooter. It is far more about abilities, star cards, and special units, and constantly grinding and playing those and swapping around and playing the objectives with those individuals. The player base seems to be very healthy. I don't have any metrics because Origin doesn't release stat metrics, but I could get in a match after like 40 seconds, even on a Monday or Tuesday when there shouldn't be too many players online. I could get online on stable servers with decent ping and play with a lot of players, and it wasn't really an issue for me. Now, the campaign. When you buy this game, you also get a single player campaign. How good or how bad is this? Again, without adding too much spoilers, the campaign is fine. It is exactly kind of what you expect from a campaign. I feel a lot of these FPS games that add a campaign a lot of time is kind of but it's actually pretty good. Especially in the beginning, you start off as this you special forces for the Empire, and then you notice that the Death Star is getting destroyed, and you get kind of that perspective, and that's really cool. Without adding too much spoilers, and you probably have both seen screenshot and this has been talked to death about by other people, you later switch sides to the New Republic, which kind of comes very fast, going for this like incredibly loyal, special forces of the Empire. And while there are some justification to switching sides, which I found compelling, it does feel kind of weird that she goes from being this, really like diehard for the Empire person, with no doubt in her mind, just, wiping out, the rebellion, wiping out, squads after squads of what they see as terrorists. And then right after being like super friendly and happy and just amazing amazing supporters, just die-hard supporters. And it's kind of like this really flip of the coin. She doesn't have any of her it's like she just switched personality. She doesn't have any of her personality for the Empire. Like, all of a sudden the Empire is just the worst ever, fuck the Empire. And it doesn't come across, in my way, a good way, even though it makes sense that she switches sides. I think that is quite compelling. I would, of course, like to see her playing from the side of the Empire. I just think that would have been more fun storyline. The missions are fine. I don't think they're actually bad. I was enjoying myself while I played through them. Some of them are a little bit long and tedious, and, you know, where you do one objective that's kind of boring, and then there's 2 more, and you're like, oh god, why did you add more of them? And that's just kind of how these games are built. And again, if you are thinking about spending 40 euros to mainly just try out and play the campaign, I would say don't do it. The campaign, in my opinion, is 6 out of 10 at best. I think that it's fun, it's entertaining, you know, you can have some fun with it, and if you turn up the difficulty, it can actually be relatively hard, but in the end, it's a shooter fest with some decent storylines, some very enjoyable characters. But again, the reason you play it is because you're a Star Wars fan and because you love the visuals. And that was what I was enjoying the most with this game, seeing all the maps coming to life, both in multiplayer and in single player, listening to the audio, seeing the explosions, just generally playing around in this universe that, if you are a diehard Star Wars fan, you will love. That is kind of the fun with this game. Again, getting to play from the Order as a flame trooper, that is fun, just running around with a flamethrower and just blasting people with it. That was some of the most fun I've had in a while in an FPS game. But at the same time, I, at least personally, again, coming from me as a reviewer that loves, you know, far more about, like, you know, shooting, getting hit markers and satisfying headshots with a sniper rifle, that kind of stuff. That's kind of how I am as a player. I love that kind of things. I die for good FPS mechanics. You get bored of it quite frequently, and the matches, when they drag out and drag out and drag out, you kind of get tired of you know, running around with a Gatling gun in the end. Even how much fun that is, and playing as a flamethrower, even how much fun that is, in the end, you kind of get tired of it. And I could probably see myself maybe pump 20 hours into the game, maybe 25 hours into the game, that is including playing my campaign, and I would probably be like, yeah, now I'm tired of it, and then I would leave, and then I would come back maybe a little bit later, play a couple rounds, and then leave again. And that's kind of how I would do it, because that is just not the FPS game for me. But if you like to just have dumb fun, you want to explore the Star Wars universe, you might even want to play out the single player, this might be a game for you. Personally, once again, I don't think it's worth 40 euros. I think that is a little bit overpriced for this game, personally, at least. But again, that very much depends on who you are as a person. I would not pay that for it. If it drops down to 20 on sale, then this is actually kind of a steal. You're gonna get some good enjoyment out of it. You're gonna have some fun with it, especially if you get a couple of friends on board. You can have some really fun stuff by playing as like units together and stuff like that. And that, then you can get far more enjoyment out of this. But as it stands now, I would not recommend this game if you're a general FPS player. Then I would not recommend this game. If you're looking for something more casual, something more fun, and you want to explore the Star Wars universe, you're a huge Star Wars nerd, then definitely you can check out this game. There's probably other sites online that sell it for a little bit cheaper than what EA has it on Origins. And at that point, it might actually be a really good deal to pick it up. Now, that's all for my review. Like, comment, subscribe. Helps out greatly on the channel. My Twitter, my Twitch, and my Discord is linked down that description. I very much appreciate all you guys watching. If you made it to the end, type Jar Jar in the comment section, and I'll heart some comments to know who made it to the end. Probably not a lot of you, but for those who do, type Jar Jar, and I will know who made it all the way here. Beside that, please do take care of yourself, stay positive. I love you guys very, very much. This whole situation with the pandemic is soon over. Hold out a little bit more, and of course, take care of others, but even more importantly, also take time to take care of yourself. Tell somebody that you love them, and I'll see you guys in the next video. My name is Jonal, and keep the enemy in your crosshair.